If this story doesn't convince you that we're all capable of changing, even when we think we're a pile of trash, nothing ever will. Welcome to the Goodish News channel. I'm Ashley, your professional pessimist. I tried ignoring the news, but then I figured, what if I just gathered up the least soul-crushing stories and presented them to you? Hopefully you enjoy this weekly dose of toxic positivity. Staten Island's Freshkills landfill, once the largest garbage dump in the world, is in the middle of a glow-up that rivals the plot to the 90s classic, She's All That.
I'll pick the girl. And you got 6 weeks to turn her into the prom queen.
The latest planned addition? A whole boatload of flowers to attract pollinators. The New York City Department of Parks and Recreation is planting 50,000 flowers in Freshkills Park to lure bees and butterflies. It's part of a broader initiative to restore the area's natural habitat and promote biodiversity. Freshkills Park, spanning over 2,200 acres, is being developed on the site of the former Freshkills landfill. The landfill opened in 1948 as a temporary solution to New York City's waste problem. Temporary in this case meant over 5 decades. The name Freshkills comes from the Middle Dutch word kille, meaning riverbed or water channel. The area was originally a wetland that served as hunting and fishing grounds for the Lenape Native Americans, before we filled it full of grocery bags and Vienna sausage cans. At its peak in the 1980s, the landfill received up to 29,000 tons of trash per day. And since we're talking about New York, that's about the weight of 129 Statues of Liberty. The dump was made up of 4 separate sections or mounds, each one constructed from layers of compacted garbage. It was the principal landfill for New York City's garbage until its closure in 2001. After its closure, the site underwent a massive transformation. The evolution from landfill to park is a multi-decade project that began in 2008 and is expected to be completed by 2036. The landfill's 4 mounds, which range in height from 90 to about 225 feet, were capped and covered with layers of soil and infrastructure. There are advanced systems in place to capture and treat landfill gas. Methane and carbon dioxide are captured through an underground vacuum system and then treated at an on-site gas recovery plant. Any impurities are removed, and the processed gas is then used as energy for Staten Island homes. The infrastructure and gas capturing system make the area safe for people and wildlife. The transformation of Freshkills Park is considered one of the most ambitious environmental reclamation projects in the world. The 2,200-acre green space is nearly 3 times the size of Central Park. Today, Freshkills Park offers a variety of features for visitors. The 21-acre North Park section includes pedestrian and cycling paths, an overlook deck, and a bird viewing tower. The park also utilizes composting restrooms, which use no water. I'll let you research that one yourself, but I will say once you get past the human excrement of it all, it is pretty interesting. The park also boasts 360 acres of restored tidal and freshwater wetlands, providing habitats for wildlife, including migratory birds and birds of prey. And let's not forget the pollinators. Bees and butterflies play a crucial role in our ecosystem, and their populations have been declining. By planting these 50,000 flowers, the city is providing essential habitat for these insects, which in turn supports the broader environment. So, from a mountain of trash to a meadow of flowers, Freshkills Park is a blooming example of how we can turn things around. And remember, on the hard days, if a landfill can become a butterfly sanctuary, there's hope for us garbage humans too.
Well, I gotta tell you, it smells just awful.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the job perks.
This next story has it all: danger, romance, and quicksand. If you're a child of the 80s, then you'll know why that last one is imperative to a good story. A Michigan man got trapped in quicksand on the shore of Lake Michigan and somehow came out with a girlfriend. So it turns out maybe it was worth the near-death experience. Mitchell O'Brien and Brianne Sika, 2 Traverse City residents and friends who had decided to explore the possibility of dating, decided to take a casual stroll on Reynolds Street Beach in Leland, Michigan. They were looking for Leland bluestones, which are actually a unique bluish slag glass found along Lake Michigan's shores from old iron ore furnaces. As they strolled along the shoreline, Brianne pointed out a spot near the water where the ground looked a little sus. Mitchell, in a move familiar to anyone who's ever ignored good advice, stepped right into it. Within seconds, he was waist deep in quicksand. Yes, quicksand is real on Michigan beaches, especially near creek mouths or where there's been flooding or dredging. In this case, recent dredging had moved 60,000 cubic yards of sand, creating some very unstable ground. Mitchell's first thought? Oh, not this again. Because apparently this wasn't his first quicksand rodeo. I've never even seen quicksand, let alone gotten stuck in it. Twice. Last year, Mitchell fell into some quicksand on the Great Lakes, but was able to get out of it. But this time, he wasn't quite so lucky. I'm sorry, but something about this photo is so funny to me. Mitchell spent about 15 minutes trying to dig his way out, but the waves kept refilling the hole with sand. Brianne tried to help, but realized that getting too close might result in both of them being trapped. They both attempted to call 911, battling weak phone signals. In a moment of levity amid the chaos, Mitchell referred to Brianne as his girlfriend for the first time during a call to 911. Simultaneously, Brianne, on a separate call, referred to Mitchell as her boyfriend. It was the first time they had used those terms for each other. Stop it, guys, don't make me feel feelings. Firefighters arrived and got straight to work. They threw Mitchell a life jacket and a rope. One firefighter even waded into the sand to help, careful not to get stuck himself. With a combination of pulling, pushing, digging, and crawling, Mitchell was freed in about 10 minutes. By the way, scientists say you're not likely to drown in quicksand. Sand is denser than the human body, so you'll float before you sink all the way under. Still, it's not a fun spot to be in, especially when you're trying to impress your potential girlfriend on a date. But on the bright side, I guess this saved those two from having the awkward conversation to determine the status of the relationship. Officials are now putting up warning signs along the beach so future couples can stick to looking for rocks without getting stuck in waist-deep quicksand. Mitchell and Brianne walked off the shore as a couple, and I wish them nothing but the best. But let's keep these two away from any fire swamps.
Wesley, what about the ROUSs?
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
A box turtle in New Jersey is showing everyone that it's never too late for a comeback. 50 years ago, a young boy in New York found an adult eastern box turtle while playing near his home. Thinking it would make a pretty cool pet, he took it home and his parents let him keep it. And so begins Rockalina's 5-decade stint as a house turtle, her wildest adventure being a stroll across the kitchen floor. Eastern box turtles are supposed to be living the good life in the woods, basking in the sun, splashing in ponds, and snacking on earthworms, berries, and other wild delicacies. Instead, Rockalina was stuck indoors, eating cat food and the occasional piece of lettuce. Not exactly what you would call a fulfilling existence. The kitchen floor was so smooth, Rockalina couldn't wear down her nails. They grew in wild curls, some even back into her feet. Her beak grew out of shape and her eyes were covered in dead skin. She couldn't even see when she was rescued this February by Garden State Tortoise, a reptile rehab center in New Jersey. Chris Leone, the center's founder, said he and his wife were shocked by Rockalina's condition. Her back leg was so damaged, they worried it would need to be amputated. She was dehydrated, discolored, and to put it mildly, not living her best turtle life. But then, cue the comeback montage. Chris gave Rockalina a warm bath. Within 45 minutes, her eyes opened for the first time in ages. Chris said the turtle seemed pretty surprised by her new surroundings. With some medication, soft food, and some serious turtle spa treatments like nail trims, beak shaping, and a new leafy habitat, Rockalina started to bounce back. She moved into a space with logs, water, pine needles, and plants, finally getting the outdoor experience she'd missed for decades. And when she finally got to go outside for real, for the first time in 50 years, she was amazed. She blinked at the sky, sniffed the grass, and immediately gobbled up an earthworm. That's how you know a turtle's feeling better. Rockalina is still healing. One of her legs is smaller than normal. Her beak will always look a bit odd and her colors may never fully return. But she's safe, cared for, and living a life much closer to what nature intended. And her story is being shared online, inspiring thousands of fans who are rooting for this resilient little reptile. Eastern box turtles can live to be over 100 years old. So Rockalina might just have decades of sunbathing and worm hunting ahead of her. And a quick PSA, if you find a wild turtle, the best thing you can do is to leave it wild. The box turtles' numbers have dwindled due to habitat loss and the illegal pet trade. So let's just leave these guys alone and let them live the way nature intended, with a belly full of earthworms.
Tastes like chicken.
Slimy yet satisfying.
If you're looking for more good news in your life, be sure to check out my video from last week where I discussed the Granny's International Football Tournament, a dog that rescued a toddler in the Arizona desert, and video evidence of how elephants handle a crisis. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing so we can ignore all the bad news together.